everyone, my name is Brittany Joyner. I am just putting my face on here for a minute so you have a face to go with the voice, but I'm about to switch to no face and total screen so you can get the full effect of this Trello talk. Super excited to share all of my Trello gems with you today, and I hope it's helpful and informative. And if you're interested and want to learn more, I'll include my email, so feel free to reach out to me. But thanks for watching, and hope you get something good out of this. Hello everyone. We are going to be talking for the next few minutes about how to be more productive with Trello. For those of you who don't know what Trello is or why you should care about it, just stick around and you will soon know. If you have any questions, even though this is a recorded talk, I'm still happy to help. Feel free to shoot me an email. I will provide that afterwards, but so yeah, hold on to your questions, and if I don't get them answered, I would love for you to reach out to me, and we will happily work through them. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, my name is Brittany Joyner. I've been using Trello since 2011. I am based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is in the southern part of the United States, next to Texas. I'm also a software engineer at Elastic. I used to work in marketing and have spent most of my career doing that, but over the last couple of years transitioned to learning more technical things, and as of this year I am a full-time software engineer, so that's super exciting. I'm also what I call a sort of anti-productivityist, productivity nerd, which you're probably wondering, what does that even mean? Do I like productivity? Do I not? And the short answer is I do like productivity, but not just for its own sake. Like, I don't want to do more just to do more. I want to do more and do it efficiently, but do more of the things that matter to me, and not just, constantly produce things and spin around like a hamster on a wheel. So the reason I've gotten so into Trello is it's helped me to prioritize the different things that I work on and make sure that I'm not just spinning my gears, but actually focusing on things that matter. And I've developed various systems that help me to do that and do that as efficiently as possible. And I am here today to share them with you. So first of all, you may be asking, what's Trello? How does it work? What is it? And the short answer is it's basically a digital whiteboard with sticky notes. And so think of a whiteboard that you can access on your phone, you can access offline, you can access online, wherever you need it, and you can fill it up with sticky notes that are supercharged. So you can add due dates, and I'll get more into all what I call the anatomy of a card here in a second, but you can do all sorts of things to it, and it's great. You can have it in your pocket, you can access it wherever and drag things around, and it's just fantastic. And so, to get into what is in the anatomy of a card, first of all, you have your supercharged sticky note right here. A card is the element that you move around on your Trello board, and it is, has a title, and that's typically use that to define like a task. But you could have the title, the description. It supports Markdown, so you can format it to look nicely. It has members where you can assign specific people and keep track of who is owning what. You can add labels, which are helpful for filtering your board and categorizing your different cards. If you want to add sub-tasks, you can use checklists. Dates, you can add start and due dates, which is great for being able to view all of your cards in a calendar format or a timeline. You can attach files, links, images, Google Drive docs, all sorts of things. You can add a location to it. You can add custom fields. There's just all sorts of things you can add to it. You can also add comments, so you can have a discussion on there. If, for instance, you need to, get coworkers' feedback on something, it's super easy to do all of that right there. So commonly, you use Trello at work. I'm going to show you a lot of ways that I use it outside of work, but a traditional way to use it is in a Kanban board, and I'm going to actually zoom out of the slides here and show you a real-life example of this. We're going to get right in a demo, but this is the most common use case of Trello, and that is for organizing a Kanban, which is where you can categorize tasks by to do, doing, and done. 3 stages pretty much every task goes through. And you basically build out your to-do list here. I actually should have another list called backlog on here, which is where you kind of write down everything you can ever think of doing. So just type one here. And that's how you add a card, and you drag it through this process as it's completed. So you add it to to-do when you're queued up to start working on it, move it to doing as you're working on it, and move it to done when it's complete. And the beauty of Trello is you can obviously seamlessly move through these things, but also you can add details to those cards. So again, like I was saying, you can add a description. So if you want to say, add a heading, you can add a list, you can bold text or italicize it, add whatever you want in here. You can even add images inline if you wanted to do that, for instance. So super cool. You can assign members. I can assign myself to it, and it's a great way to be able to filter the board. For instance, if I only want to see cards that are assigned to me, you can quickly organize it and see it then in that way. And if you want to, let's say, attach, let's say I want to add an image to it, you can attach it to that. Once it uploads, you'll be able to preview it on there. It's a great way for if you're working with any design teams and maybe there's some assets that are involved with a specific task. You can see it right there. They're automatically set to the card cover, which is another sort of not even necessarily advanced, but something I'm not going to touch too much on right now. But it's a great way to, style up your cards, make them look nice. You can add due dates for when something starts or when it is due, and you'll be able to get reminders about that if you're interested in those. You can also add a checklist. So let's say you want to have subtasks. So climb Mount Everest. Let's say I need to work out. I need to buy mountain climbing gear. And one of the cool things I love about it is you can, with the checklist, it'll show you your progress on it. You can also hide checked items if you only want to see tasks that are coming up. And let's say you decide you don't even need it anymore. You can actually delete it. So that's super cool. You can add a location if you want to do that. For instance, Everest. Yeah. So, and then you can actually view your cards in a map view. I'm not going to lie, I don't use that on every single board that I have, but there's some that it's actually kind of useful, especially if you're planning any trips. So lots of different ways you can do things here. Let's say you can make template cards, which is, for instance, if you're always going to have a card that has a certain format, it's a quicker way than just copying and pasting a card, for instance. So, that's just kind of a high-level overview and sort of demo of how that works. Adding a list is as easy as, typing the name. And I'll show you real quick one of my favorite things about Trello. So if you add the ta-da emoji to a list, whenever you move a card in there, it'll spray confetti across the board. I think that's super fun. I love it. One of my favorite things. So that's kind of a hands-on sort of demo there. I'm going to go back into the slides here and show you a little bit more about other things that I like to do with Trello, but just wanted to kind of get in there so you could actually see different ways, what's the in and outs and the mechanisms of actually using Trello. So another way that you can use Trello at work is planning content. If any of you are producing content or working with people who are, it's a great way. I actually use this personally for my Trello blog, where I have a list of different ideas of things I want to write, and people can also submit ideas. They all get queued up in ideas. I grab one, move it over to currently writing, move it over to published when that's done, and it's a great way to keep track of all the content that I have queued up. I never have to wonder, what am I going to write about this week? I have all sorts of ideas here, and it's a really helpful way to see all of that. So the best part of Trello is it's great for being productive at work. It's great for working with your coworkers. You can use it for so many things besides that, though. And in fact, I do. I don't use Trello so much in my full-time job personally. I have at different times, but in my current role right now, I'm not. But I use it so much outside of work, and that's where I find a lot of value in it. So, for instance, one of the things I do, I actually organize my personal life like a sprint. So just like that board we just went through, I have a more sort of refined one that I have changed over the last several years, and it's evolved into a really powerful board where I keep track of all the things that I'm working on outside of work in regard to my side projects, my personal goals, and all sorts of other things. So it's a little bit advanced to kind of go through in this talk, but I have some other content on my newsletter where I go through that, and actually I'm about to push out a new YouTube video soon about how I've upgraded it this year, and it's my most advanced version yet. So keep following me if you're interested in that content, but I'm not going to go through that in this presentation today. But basically the way that board works is it's the same sort of thing as like I would do with my work board, where I have my backlog of all the things I want to do, and then to do, doing, and done for my tasks. So it's pretty simple. I like that. I incorporate some retrospective, which if you're familiar at all with Agile, that's a concept where you dedicate time to sort of review what did I do in the last week, in my last sprint, and what could I improve? And so I make sure to incorporate some aspects of that. And doing Trello and using checklists makes that super easy for me to do that. I also use Trello for meal planning and groceries. My sister and my partner and I all share Trello board, and even though we don't live together, we used to, and we still do share the same board where we will plan out what we want for groceries, what meals we're planning to make. We have recipes on there, and it's a great way to sort of keep track of everything and have it all in one place. I also use Trello to track my reading list. It's a great way to keep track of all the different books that you want to read, what you're currently reading, and anything you have read. You can use custom fields to add reviews like you see here in this screenshot, or like a star rating sort of thing. You can add details if you want to add any notes from the books you read. So someone asks, what did you think of Millionaire Mind? I could go click on that and read, any notes that I left in there about it. You can also use Trello for organizing home projects. So I use this to keep track of, here's the different things I want to do around the house. I want to replace certain lights or doorknobs, or I need to fix this or that. It's a great way to keep track of that, and any links to products you find or wish lists for things to buy. You can also use Trello for trip planning. That's a good way to plan if you've got an event going on or a trip, where you can keep track of your flight details, your hotels. You can set an itinerary in there. I like to have a list for each day, and you can add a card for where you're sleeping that night and different activities throughout the day. You can use different power-ups to have voting, and if you're planning a trip with other people, let people vote on different activities. So it's a pretty cool way for planning a trip. And you can also use it for Christmas shopping. So I mentioned wish list on the home project thing of things that I want to buy, but I actually also use Trello for keeping track of things that I want throughout the year. So when it comes to be Christmas time and people are like, what would you like for Christmas? I already have a list of things that I want. And I also use it on the other side for buying gifts for other people. So I have a board where it's that same sort of linear Kanban style of to do, doing, and done, where it's to do, people I need to shop for, doing, people I've partially bought for, and then my done is obviously like wrapped and passed on to people. So great way to use it for that. And this is just really touching the surface. Like, there's so many different things you can do with Trello. Truly, the ideas are endless. But this is a short talk, so I'm gonna cut it off there. If you're interested in learning more, I have links here. Feel free to subscribe to my Trello blog. I try to write regularly about different use cases and things I'm doing with Trello, or advanced features or power-ups. If you want to get a deeper sort of foundation to get started with Trello, I recommend checking out my Hello Trello course. It's a deep dive on exactly what I said, how to get started with Trello. So if you're like, this is great, I'm super interested, but I don't feel ready to actually dive in and start using Trello, this course will be really hands-on. There's lots of videos, text tutorials. You get access to me and any questions you have, and I'll help you all the way through with getting started with Trello. And I also recommend joining the Atlassian community. There's a link to it here as well. Feel free to, lurk in there and just kind of see what other people are posting. It's a great place to ask questions, get ideas. I've found so many ideas for inspiration of things to do with Trello in there, and I love seeing different people's questions in there, and I'll try to jump in if I think I can help out with them. And lastly, my email address is on here, so feel free to reach out to me. But thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this talk. And yes, my shirt does say "Talk Trello to me," just in case you were wondering.